My name is Angela Ellmore, and I'm a Research and Development Director for Knowles Precision Devices. Precision device is defined by Knowles as a ceramic filter or capacitor, an electronic device which filters out generally high frequency signals. 5G needs to use very high frequency, and so in order to give everybody the access to the frequency they need, you need to have filters in there that will filter out the wrong bandwidths and leave the right bandwidths in. And they're fairly complex little ceramic structures with metallic elements on the surface which act as the filter. So my typical day is usually starts around 7:30, and I very quickly go on to calls with China. So I'm responsible for a team of engineers and technicians in China who do all the research and development for the multi-layer ceramic capacitor line. So we'll talk to them usually on 2 or 3 calls lasting maybe 2 to 3 hours generally during the day. And then in the middle of the day, I will usually give some support to the UK team. I've got about 20 people working in my team in the UK. And then in the afternoons, then it's usually one or more calls to the USA team. So I have responsibilities in the USA and a couple of the sites over there. And so I have projects ongoing over in the USA as well. So it's usually quite a long day. Starting early, finishing quite late, but it's very rewarding and very interesting as well. When I was given this role about 5 years ago, the director's role, is very much a global role. Knowles is a USA company, so their headquarters is based in the USA, New York State. So before COVID, I was traveling 3-4 times a year over to the USA. And last year I did 4 times in China as well as other areas where I'd possibly be visiting customers and suppliers. I've been to Japan, several trips in Europe. I've been to Taiwan. I've done a lot of traveling, particularly over the last 5 years. I quite enjoy it, but the getting there and getting home is a bit of a pain, especially the long hauls. It can typically take 20 to 24 hours to get from Norwich to the final destination, and it's basically lost time. So and it's also very tiring. But when you're there, it's like working anywhere really. We very much have a global team wherever I go, so you just feel like you're just working in a different office. When I'm not at work, I like to keep fit, so I'm doing a bit of running, a bit of cycling, dog walking, gardening. I like baking, cooking, needlework, knitting, music. They're my main hobbies, I guess. Yes, so I first got involved in patents probably about 10 years ago. A colleague and myself came up with an idea which the company felt was worth patenting. And that eventually got patented, and we've sold millions of dollars worth of parts using that particular patent, which is great. We're very pleased with it. But the interesting thing from a woman in science point of view, for this patent point, as far as I'm concerned, is that when I was involved in getting the patent issued, obviously when you're going through that, you have to talk to the patent lawyers who put the application together. And she was a lady of a similar age to me, and she'd been in the industry for many years. And she said that I was the first woman who she'd actually raised a patent application for, which I was absolutely amazed about, because I felt that was quite unusual, and I wouldn't have expected that. But apparently that was a fact. In most cases, when I'm in a business situation, I'm very much in a minority in terms of being female. Becoming a little bit less so, but still predominantly male orientated. And the patent lawyer mentioned to me that she is involved in many patents, again, interestingly, from toothpaste manufacturers in particular. They patent everything they do in terms of the technology, the packaging, etc. I don't know if that's significant, but presumably all the teams there were male. So I don't know if it's changed over the last 10 years, but I've now got, I think, 3 patents that I'm named on. One, I certainly was the main contributor, and the other 2 I've been named on more in a supporting role. Throughout my career, I've always taken the philosophy that I'm a person doing a job, not that I'm a woman doing a job. So if I'm as good as the blokes, then they will take me as seriously as they do the blokes. There are a few exceptions. 1 or 2 of the countries that maybe still have older views, maybe you're not taken quite as seriously. But to be honest, I've not really had much of an issue. If you can talk well on your subject and you can make good points, well made, then you're taken very seriously. And I've done very well as a woman in science over 40 years. I found at school that peculiarly I was good at chemistry, and I never did quite understand why. So I left school and went to a place that's now called Briar Chemicals in Norwich on the Ring Road. And I spent 4 years in an analytical chemistry laboratory. And while I was doing that, I did day relief at Norwich City College, and I did an ONC and an HNC in chemistry, and then I did an extra qualification in advanced analytical chemistry. While I was doing that, it took me 5 years. That was 1 day a week from 9 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. at night, 11 hours. And I was a little miffed to find out that my friend who was at uni was doing 11 hours tuition a week. So I thought, who's the mug here? From that, I decided that the career opportunities where I was were more limited. So I found this position at the time it was ITT in Arming Hall in Norwich, making capacitors. And so I moved there in my early 20s, and I worked my way up from technician to engineer to senior engineer to process and material manager. And then when the site was moved from Norwich to China, I was starting to think about an early retirement. And then they offered me this global R&D director role, and I've never been busier or more rewarded, fulfilled with the job. It's very, very exciting most days. If you treat your team well and you respect them, and they will respect you, and I think that works very well. I hopefully have very good relationships with all my team, both upwards and downwards, just by mutual respect and appreciation. Another quite interesting thing I've done in my career as a woman is that our company, Knowles, are members of the CDP, and the CDP stands for the Centre for Dielectrics and Piezoelectrics. So basically it's all things ceramic and related to capacitance and dielectrics in general. So it can involve ceramics and other materials like plastics and films and all sorts of things. So the CDP is based in the USA out of 2 universities, one in North Carolina and one in Pennsylvania, Penn State. And the meetings are biannually. And what the format is that the CDP is funded by industrial partners. So we're one of the industrial partners, and there are about 30 companies members of this organisation at the moment. And we fund the projects to be researched on. And we have these meetings, as I said, biannually. And there is an industrial advisory board, and the industrial advisory board is represented by a chairperson. And I was nominated and elected as chairperson for this 2018 to 2019. And as such, I chaired 2 of the meetings that were held that year. And at the time, I was female chairperson for the Industrial Advisory Board, and the 2 directors of the 2 universities involved were both women as well. So it was they thought that was quite an unusual event to have 3 sort of top-level women on the same board at the same time. I've been in this field for many years, as I mentioned, nearly 40, and I never expected to end up in this position, but I'm really pleased that I have. And I think it just goes to show, I didn't have a degree. I did all my training out of my own time. And it does show what you can achieve as a woman or as anybody if you put your mind to it, and you just don't know where your career might take you. And so I'd just like to wish all the students that may see this the very best luck with their chosen career. And I hope it works out as well for them as it seems to have done for me.